I want to give you an update about the resident that was removed from Balseskin Reception Centre this week and left out overnight. His case has been reported, of course, in the Irish Times and raised by Louisa Riley in the Dáil, and we're really grateful for everybody who's offered their support and help while Fingal Communities Against Racism has tried to support him in what's quite a severe crisis for him. Many times when people are told that they have to leave the reception centre, their reactions can be quite extreme. In this case, a man who was really quite traumatised suffered quite an extreme reaction to the news that at short notice he would have to move centre. He already knew about the suicide of another man in Monaghan recently. They had a mutual friend, and his fear about his own mental health prompted a crisis. At the point, however, that he was due to leave and wouldn't leave the centre because he was in the middle of a mental health crisis, Balseskin management took his bags and put them outside the centre. This is clearly something they do as a means of pushing people to leave and to go to other centres. It's quite a concerning practice if the person concerned is in the middle of a mental health crisis, as this man clearly was. He didn't, as a rational person not in crisis, would have followed their bags. He didn't. Those bags are now missing, containing many of his documents that he needs. And we have reported that to the Gardaí. They have eventually taken a report of that and given us a pulse number, and we hope that they'll be following up with Balseskin management on the CCTV footage of the area where the bags were put outside the centre. Balseskin also recorded him as being absent from the site, which is what has prompted him to have to go into isolation for 2 weeks. In fact, he was never absent from the site. He slept first on a park bench inside the site near reception, and then in a parked car again on the site in the car park. So he was never outside of Balseskin until the point that we called an ambulance for him on Thursday afternoon after he'd been ejected from the site by Gardaí. Again, something that's quite concerning for somebody in the middle of a mental health crisis, which was quite evident to us on arrival. So we ensured that he got to hospital, and we also ensured that he was able to be kept overnight in hospital. He would have otherwise been released at 1 a.m. To go where, I don't know. But homeless services were not available, and the hospital kept him overnight. He was released into our care yesterday, and Balseskin confirmed that he should still go to isolation and told us that a taxi could be ordered to take him there. Now, the psychiatrist had given us letters to ensure that they were given on to the next centre, and so we decided to take him directly to the isolation centre ourselves, and that's what we did, and we conveyed the medical information to the isolation centre. So I'm not sharing any data or details about the man or his condition. Beyond that, the relevant people in government and those who are trying to arrange services for him have his details. But just suffice to say, thank you very much to everybody who has helped us to keep him safe so far. We are still enormously worried about him. He is in an isolation centre, where he does have some space to exercise in fresh air. It's a very nice place. Nonetheless, the problem is, of course, for people in delicate mental health situations, isolation is very damaging, and there are no medical or support staff on site. So while the staff there have been very understanding and very helpful, and we're really grateful to them too, they themselves say they don't have the necessary training or support. All we can do is try and keep in touch with him by phone and call an ambulance if we're concerned enough about his mental state. And believe me, I came very close this morning. Now we are in constant contact with him as much as we can be, and it's very worrying when we lose contact with him for any reason. So that's the update so far. We hope that the department are taking this seriously and realise the error that he should not be in isolation because he was never off the Balseskin site, and therefore there's no reason for him to quarantine for 2 weeks. He should be moved directly now to another direct provision centre with the appropriate mental health support in place, and we will be getting in touch with as many people in the relevant parties as possible to make sure that that happens, and of course providing that informal support for as long as we can. Again, this is just one case that we happen to find out about because it's in our area. We can only imagine that there are multiples of this case across the country, but it is concerning that Balseskin would take a man's bags and put them outside the site to persuade him to leave when he was in the middle of a mental health crisis. And we are still waiting to get back those very important documents for him, upon which his asylum claim rests as well. So we're still on it. We're staying with him. Thank you for everybody for your support. We keep communicating your solidarity to him, and that's enormously important to keep him hopeful. It's very heartbreaking to see somebody losing hope after such a long journey to get to Ireland to find safety from a highly traumatic situation. So thank you very much, everybody, and we'll keep you updated.